Now let's take a closer look at Texas politics with our political analyst, Harvey Kronberg of the Quorum Report. Harvey, Happy New Year. Welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back, and we're only 5 days in. It's been pretty exciting thus far.
Very exciting, and I think it's going to keep getting more exciting. Let's see. We're 6 weeks away from early voting in the primaries, and the biggest race has got to be the U.S. Senate race. Can you tell us what each candidate needs to do to put themselves in their best position? Let's start with the Republicans.
Well, John Cornyn continues to face the problem that he can't seem to break above 35%, which means we're going to be in some kind of runoff. The question is who he's probably going to be in a runoff with, Paxton or Wesley Hunt. Paxton's numbers have been going down. Frankly, it's going to end up being a TV war. I don't think mail is going to end up mattering. But Paxton doesn't need TV. The other two guys do need TV. Paxton's got a base inside the Republican Party, so he really doesn't have to do anything per se to be a likely runoff contender. Cornyn has to spend a lot of money legitimizing himself to the Republican base, and he's more or less gotten married to Donald Trump.
Is there any chance of President Trump giving an endorsement in this race for the Republican candidates?
I don't see it for the primary per se. I don't think he's gotten a little more judicious about spending his political capital in statewide races, so I think he'll be saving his fire for the general election.
And you're talking about the need to spend money on TV advertising. That's super expensive in this state. Let's talk about fundraising numbers. When they are filed for the fourth quarter, what are you looking for? What can they tell us?
Well, I don't think we're going to see very much from Ken Paxton, but ironically, he has so much name ID inside the Republican primary, he probably does. He's the one that needs to spend the least to be a contender in the runoff. Wesley Hunt has been on the air now for months, as has John Cornyn, and there's no evidence that indication that either one's going to run out of money to be able to project themselves on TV.
Interesting. Let's talk about the Democratic side, where James Tallarico is reporting a nearly $7 million haul in the last 3 months. No numbers yet from Jasmine Crockett, who looks like she's the front runner. But unlike Tallarico, Crockett getting plenty of attention from her Republican opponents. How do you see that contest playing out between Crockett and Tallarico?
Well, presumptively Crockett, because she has much higher name ID from the get-go, plus she's already got $4.5 million cash on hand as of the last report. Presumably she's going to do something. She'll do $6 to $8 million, presumably. This is going to also end up being a TV war for a fairly small primary. Crockett excites the base, but Tallarico is the one most likely to be able to build a coalition going forward. And the conventional wisdom is that Crockett will emerge victorious, but I think there are so many potential upsets. And with Republicans focusing on her like this, they're already beginning to damage her.
Well, let's handicap that, because it does seem like Crockett has some momentum, but what does Tallarico need to do to improve his position?
Well, the problem, I'll start the other way. The problem for Crockett is that she's basing her potential general election strategy on being able to turn out new voters. He's going to be able to build a coalition, so he just has to reach all the different elements that potentially make up a the Democratic base and get them to turn out.
If, as many assume, and it sounds like you assume this as well, the Republicans go to a runoff, does this give the Democrats any advantage heading into the general?
Not the runoff per se. The only advantage Democrats will get is if Paxton ends up emerging victorious. And it's anybody's guess. Usually the most inflamed voters turn out for the runoffs, and that will advantage Paxton.
Okay. And on the Democratic side, which candidate may help Democrats gain more seats at the Texas legislature, which they're trying to do? Who has the better coattails?
I think easily it's Tallarico, in the fact that he can build a broad-based coalition of all the ethnic and racial minorities, and he just has a dominant position for being able to do coalition building.
All right, Harvey, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks.